Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I wanted to go ahead and open up Pandora's box and have the discussion that's been on the minds of so many people ever since we got the Boruto time skip, which is now that we've seen Boruto come back with this brand new aura about himself, can we say or even begin to have the conversation that Boruto has surpassed Baryon Mode Naruto, which I know is going to piss a lot of people off because just the fact that Boruto ended Boruto Naruto Next Generation stronger than his father has quite a few people actually pissed off, and it's because it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that Boruto using his karma seal could throw hands at Naruto and knock the ramen noodles out his mouth if Naruto told him to go to bed early and Boruto said he wanted to stay up late, or if Boruto said we ain't eating Ichiraku ramen tonight, we're having Thunder Burgers, Naruto couldn't argue one bit. It's something I saw a few people uneasy about, but given where we are currently after the first couple of chapters, the conversation of Baryon Mode Naruto and Boruto surpassing that version of Naruto is something that a bunch of people have been bringing up and DMing me, so I want to go ahead and weigh in with my thoughts on this. So longtime viewers of the channel know that I've been saying ever since we saw Baryon Mode Naruto versus Ishiki, I was preaching in the aftermath that the power we saw Naruto using here, where he's shown reacting to attacks that were so fast Sasuke by his own words couldn't track it with his Sharingan and Rinnegan, I said levels of Ishiki and Baryon Mode were going to be the benchmarks in power for the foreseeable future, but that people needed to prepare themselves for that glass ceiling that those forms represented to be broken in the future, likely in the time skip, which is where we are currently. The narrative of Boruto Naruto Next Generations towards the end of its run was proceeding in a similar fashion. There was a constant need to make readers absolutely aware of the fact that Jigen was one power level and Ishiki was another power level because they're two different beings, and all these new threats that we're seeing were labeled as being just above Jigen in power but below Ishiki, showing a level of respect towards Baryon Mode Naruto and Ishiki Otsutsuki as being into a tier unto themselves. However, as we neared the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, in the last few chapters we learned that there was a level of power that blew Baryon Mode Naruto and Ishiki out the water. Shibai was stated to be so powerful that just screaming caused earthquakes and thunderstorms, waving his arms made entire windstorms, and all the overpowered abilities we saw like Damon's Reflection, Ada's Charm Control powers, and Code's Claw Marks were all Shinjutsu that Shibai had, and so much more, with Shinjutsu being stated to be the true power that ninja were just making cheap imitations of with their ninjutsu. We had a fourth dimensional being introduced into the Naruto franchise, potentially higher than fourth dimensional, but that's another video for another day. However, once this was stated, I said two things. One, prepare for the massive power creep in the time skip, because this reeks of something that Masashi Kishimoto did in the canceled manga Samurai 8, which like Boruto was written by Kishimoto but drawn by one of his assistants. And two, I said you don't introduce Shibai's level of power if you don't plan on having characters reset to your power. Case in point, we had the Sage of Six Paths reference all day in Naruto's manga, and when we meet him, he's looking at Naruto and saying that one Rinnegan Madara, that guy, he's approaching my level of power and he's trying to attain the power level of my mother. I said I thought that we were going to go down a similar route with Shibai, and for that reason Baryon Mode is inevitably going to get surpassed. The narrative has been set for Baryon Mode to be passed over at some point in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, but has it already reached that point? Well, in order to determine that, we have to look at just how strong Baryon Mode Naruto was in order to truly appreciate how monumental of a task surpassing that version of Naruto would actually be. Now, prior to going into Baryon Mode, to say that Naruto struggled with Ishiki would be a dramatic understatement. Naruto was not able to land a hit on Ishiki, and Ishiki's chakra rods were moving at speed so fast that not even Sasuke's Rinnegan and Sharingan combo could actually track them. Just one hit from Ishiki sent Naruto flying through several buildings inside of Konoha, and was enough for Naruto to come to the conclusion Ishiki might have been playing around, but he was stronger than Jigen, a conclusion that Kashi and Koji also jumped to after one attack was used. Being stronger than the Jigen who rocked Naruto so hard that 4 direct hits was enough to leave him unable to stand up or maintain his chakra mode, that says a lot. as does it say a lot that Ishiki was playing around with Naruto, not even using his true power. However, when Naruto goes into Baryon mode, Ishiki quickly regrets it, and attacks are previously too fast for him to react to, like the chakra rods that Ishiki summons and shoots out. Naruto is casually reacting to them, snatching them out of midair and swiping them away at speeds that leaves Sasuke baffled. His strength is now on par with Ishiki enough that several of the blows that he lands on Ishiki leaves Ishiki rocked in pain and growing desperate as time passes by, and we see at times that Ishiki was struggling just to land a hit on Naruto. The tables had essentially been turned. Even when Naruto's Baryon mode began to weaken, the most it did was allow Ishiki to force Naruto to block a few attacks, and when Ishiki grew desperate enough to summon Kashin Koji's True Essence Flames, Naruto easily broke through them and using a small Rasengan was able to make a giant explosion that sent Ishiki reeling. But as the power level began to decrease, Naruto eventually got to a point where Ishiki could body slam him, choke him out, and stomp Naruto out that form. So there was a durability issue when fighting an Ishiki level of power. However, when you look at Boruto, to say that he's not at the very least knocking on the door of that level of power is a stretch, and I'll explain to you why. At the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, he was already stronger than Naruto without Kurama and Sasuke without the Rinnegan, evident by the fact that he was able to hold his own against Kawaki, who had access to Ishiki's dojutsu, and his eye was producing several spokes in the eye, growing stronger as time went on, producing more spokes as time went on than Jigen ever did, which implies that what Amato said was true, which is that Kawaki's body can fully sustain Ishiki's chakra and be able to use it all, making him damn near unstoppable. Unlike Jigen, who was not able to contain Ishiki's chakra or use his abilities to the max while his body breaking down. Boruto, when Momoshiki took over, was fighting somewhat equal to a freshly awakened Karma Seal Kawaki, and when they squared up again, Boruto was shown being able to finally use a giant Rasengan on his own without Momoshiki taking over, and in the brief fight, he was holding his own against Kawaki. Now, this depends on whether or not you think in the Boruto Naruto Next Generations Kawaki's stronger than the Jigen who fought Naruto and Sasuke, which I do think is the case, and I explain in detail why in a video that's gonna be dropping later this week. But how much stronger than Jigen is gonna be the question that you have to ask. Naruto and Shikamaru saw what Kawaki was capable of and still jumped to the conclusion that Boruto and Kawaki need to be kept away from Code, and they were planning to make their own plan to deal with Code, deeming a Jigen level threat something that they could manage, likely because there was a strategy already set in place given that they'd seen Code's jutsu multiple times in action. However, there was enough worry that either Boruto and Kawaki were either not strong enough or they didn't have the experience needed to actually fight someone like Code without limiters, or it might have been a combination of those two factors. However, I believe the narrative is telling us that they were both substantially weaker than Code, even though they're all beyond Jigen in power. Allow me to explain why I say that. Code, when he got his limiters taken off, he definitely got bodied. Damon was busy singing the Baby Shark song in his head while he was slapping Code around to the beat of it. Yet, it's worth noting that Code didn't lose the fight against Damon right away. If you remove the images from your head of Damon stomping Code out and roundhouse kicking him, speed blitzing him, Damon did have to jump and avoid a few of Code's attacks. There was more visible effort put in by Damon, and it took more than one hit by a semi-serious Damon who said that he was going to kill Code in order to actually beat him to a point where Code had to retreat, and even then, Code still retained consciousness. Boruto and Kawaki, on the other hand, they both lost extremely fast against Damon, practically one-shotted by Damon. Obviously, they didn't use their Karma Seal, but it's debatable if Karma would have even made that much of a difference, given that Damon snatched Kawaki's chakra rods out the air like it was nothing, even catching one of them with his teeth. However, just with those two being at a Jigen level or a slightly stronger than Jigen level, they're already stronger than the Rinnegan Sasuke and Six-Pass Sage Mode Naruto, who fought and lost against Jigen in Boruto episode 204, which is damn impressive for a floor for these two characters. And when you add in Boruto's been training with Sasuke throughout the time skip and constantly fighting life and death battles against the Claw Grind, and has returned stating that he believes killing Code is an easy task, means that at the bare minimum he would need to be at Damon's level of power, if not substantially stronger than Damon, which means if he's stronger than Damon, then he would have to be in that Ishiki class of power, which means we're approaching that Baryon mode level of power. Just given how quickly Boruto was able to progress without the Karma Seal throughout the series, where he approached training as something he did for fun, this time training training with a express purpose and fighting those life and death battles is going to cause for a much larger jump in power. If base Boruto in part 1 without the Karma Seal was able to reach a Chunin level at the academy and a Jonin level by the time he took the Chunin exams, imagine what he's able to do when he has a clear, desperate end goal in sight and has an emotionally detached Sasuke training him, because this Sasuke who trained Boruto isn't going to pull punches in his mind, because Boruto isn't Naruto's son as far as he's concerned. He said that he would trust in Sarada, but in his mind, due to the Shinjutsu, he can't make the connection that Boruto's Naruto's child, which means the training under Sasuke would be more exhaustive and intensive than it was previously. I don't think it's crazy to say time skip Boruto needs to, at a bare minimum, start at a daemon level, nor do I think it's crazy to say that he's quickly gonna surpass Baryon mode, and here's why. Sasuke knows that Ishiki revived into a body that couldn't fully use his power, and he knows that Boruto has Momoshiki inside of him, which means Kawaki has Ishiki's chakra, even though Sasuke knows that this should be the other way around. Sasuke knows all too well what Ishiki was capable of inside of a dying body after he revived using Jigen's corpse following Kashi and Koji's fight, and Sasuke got made into a surfboard. He knows Kawaki, someone who Boruto wants to fight, is likely going to be performing at a much higher level than Ishiki, who was losing his life force because Kawaki would have had time to train, which would give Sasuke a clear benchmark for how high up he wants to train. That being said, I'm curious to know where you guys fall in this discussion. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 2 review, which you can read early on OP Scan's website, or you can read it officially tomorrow on Viz Media's Shonen Jump app or on Manga Plus.